Hello, KinYoobiCon, and welcome to FanDUMBs, a fair and balanced analysis about fandom.
You okay there?
No. So as you see here, we have two images. One is a QR code to our various social media, and the other is how I feel right now.
Fitting.
Yeah, it's fitting. Anyway, hello, I'm Max.
I'm Mams.
And I'm Kay.
And together we are the foundation for the eradication of Gen 5 Pokemon, and presumably also the foundation for the eradication of fandoms. Because I do not like them.
No.
Bad.
But I don't know. Who are we to judge? If we're going to throw stones, shouldn't we demonstrate the glass houses in which we live?
Oh, my glass house is so fragile.
Well, we really should get a good baseline. So let's start it off.
It's going to become a much less fragile soon because it will have collapsed. So each of us are going to go over some of our cringeous life moments so you understand exactly where we're coming from. I have to humiliate myself first. So again, hi, I'm Max, and here is an image of me at the Hitalia cosplay meetup at Fanime in 2012.
Natalia.
Yeah. I'm into global politics.
I don't think that's what the anime was about.
You know what? I learned that a little too late.
Well, here, let me help you.
Thank you.
I'm Kay, and I have written over 150 fics for Fire Emblem 3 Houses specifically. Each fic is about 3,000 to 20,000 words long. So it's about 8 copies of Crime and Punishment.
That is a lot of punishment, and you've committed a lot of crime.
Yeah, that's why I said my glass house is
for
bad.
real. Could you murder someone with that much fic?
Oh, 100%.
You could murder so many people with that much fic.
Okay. Well, again, I'm Mams, and I participate in Doctor Who RP. Just for, a brief moment in time, not too long.
I mean,
How long?
A brief 12 years.
I was going to say, participating in RP isn't that shameful, but for like 12 minutes.
Yeah, no years.
Years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what'd you learn?
Get out of RP because it's toxic.
You clearly didn't do that.
It took me a minute, okay?
It took you 12 years!
It took you at least an hour.
Okay, you know what? I made mistakes. I was young and foolish and probably about 18. It's fine.
Yeah, at what point in that 12 years were you 18?
Near 2. Anyway, we really should get started and define what fandom is now that we've kind of trashed ourselves with this. I think a good place to start is the dictionary definition. So let's go with Webster. Webster seems kind of cool. Fandom, all of the fans, as of a sport, or the state or attitude of being a fan.
Wait, like that?
I guess?
That's being a fan.
I guess so.
Okay, this is ridiculous because this was written by someone who's never been to a convention or on the internet, or someone who's been to a train museum. You know who you are.
That's not a train museum. That's a train-themed amusement park.
Yeah, but you're still cosplaying at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Few kids did think I worked there.
That tracks. So look, come on, let's just.
Well, yeah, of course, it's on tracks.
Let's just go to a proper definition. We're going to my friend Urban Dictionary. So here's our definition. It's an innocent word describing, people who obsess over basically fan or content.
Innocent.
Innocent?
I mean, the word's innocent.
No, the word is very guilty.
Yeah.
Well, okay, look, let's be fair. Fandom started really innocent. We started back in the 1400s with the Canterbury Tales specifically.
Wait, we know there's a much older fandom than the Canterbury Tales. Why aren't we discussing, Christianity?
No. So, that's a protected class. I would like to continue the panel instead of being shut down.
Agreed.
God, we'll get, deported to South Sudan?
Quite possibly. So, we are going to the Canterbury Tales. So, at the time, the Canterbury Tales had fan art and they had fan gatherings. And, people would gather together to sit in a room just for it to be read to them. And there even was contemporary fan fiction. So, like, The Tale of Baron was written by a fan in that time as a prequel to the whole series. So he was kind of like the original I Can Do Better kind of fan.
Wow, even back in the 1500s?
Yeah.
What else did they have to do?
Fair point.
So, like, even as time went on, there were a lot of people writing fan fiction for it. And, like, some people, like these guys, were really smart. They made money off of it.
I wish I got paid to be creative.
Right?
No, you have to copy previous works. That's how you get paid.
Oh, that tracks.
Okay.
So, but, like, if this isn't working for you guys, we can go a little bit more modern. We can go all the way to 1893 and the death of Sherlock Holmes. There was a public mourning for him. People published obituaries. There were angry letters to the author. And there was also the near death of a magazine. So it was kind of like modern bullying, but posh. Like, people wanted to enact a literal death of the author, which I think is why the Detective Conan manga refuses to end.
I mean, are there enough fans to pose a credible threat at this point?
Look, when you
five
have
of them?
No. See, when you have something like this be this dramatic, you can't not be careful.
I guess. But, that still feels a little bit old. Let's go something that's, a little more modern, like the precursor to modern fandoms. I think we need to talk about Star Trek here. Like, they got shoved into lockers so that we could walk. So, as far as we can tell, there are gatherings as early as 1966 to save the show. The first official convention being in 1972 at a Hilton Hotel in Manhattan, which had, actual actors and creators attend, and they expected, a nice few hundred people. In reality, they wound up with several thousand. So, it's kind of like the originator of AX's overcrowding issue. I guess it was a problem even back in the 60s. Go figure. So, I guess it worked for them, but still. So Star Trek also boasts what modern fandom considers to be the father of all shipping fics, called A Fragment at a Time, which was published in Grump, the first R-rated Star Trek zine in 1974. So
Wait, I don't think any of them know what, like, a zine is.
You're right. We actually probably should cover what zines are, because they're not exactly the same thing as they are today. So, zines in today's context are kind of a compilation of art and sometimes fan fiction that's mass-produced and print-level quality. Sometimes you get charms and pins and other manufactured goods with them. That's not how zines worked back then. So back then, zines were works that were, typed up on a typewriter or by hand, then copied with at-home office equipment, and then people would, sign up for a mailing list to get these things for free, or just with like a small fee to pay for postage. And then they had to wait for, it to get mailed to them. So all in all, people went way harder for like their fan stuff now, or fan stuff then, than we do now. Like the earliest fanzine was in Spokonalia in September of 1967.
You lost me at people having at-home office equipment.
Yeah, apparently they did. They were desperate for their fan merch.
Good for them. I mean, here's the thing. I don't know what Star Trek is. I'm a weeb, not a whatever, a Trekkie. Is that what they go by? So let's talk about a convention that's near and dear to us, the anime convention. So most major anime conventions started in the 1990s, where people would kind of just trade fan subs of their favorite shows with each other. You see, because back then there wasn't like a Crunchyroll, a Kiss Anime, a Pirate Bay. We didn't even have Toonami. You had to go into the real world, like a Suncoast, to find a show you liked. And Suncoast doesn't exist now, and all they had were like a couple box sets of Outlaw Star. So really the only solution for you was to go to a convention.
Ah, yes, fan subs.
I mean, FanDUMBs, that's where it's really at.
True.
Conventions have changed, though. Anime has gone mainstream. Finally, we aren't getting bullied for our favorite hobby. Sure, you can't buy physical media at conventions anymore, the reason they used to exist, but you can get much cooler stuff like prop weapons and whatever this is. I'm gonna be honest, I think we should probably go back to bullying anime fans.
They're out of control a little bit.
Okay, but here's the thing, is like, I feel like you can't really bully anime fans because they're well trained in bullying themselves.
Well, I mean, if you're buying that...
No. I mean, people who buy that are familiar with Tumblr. You can't really outdo a Tumblr bullying. And, like, if you don't believe me, let's just talk about the history of Tumblr, alright?
Okay.
So we're gonna go over the good, the bad, and the onceler. So, unlike other social media sites, Tumblr is actually sort of functional. There's a blocking system, there's an encouragement to over tag to filter like exactly what you want. And if you don't want to use their algorithm, you really never have to. It does kind of have a problem where like nothing ever dies on it. So its history is going to follow you literally forever.
Are we talking about what I think we're talking about?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
yes,
heck yes.
we are.
Oh, no.
So we're going to talk about Super Hulock. 3 times the fandom, 3 times the drama, and was the birthplace of a lot of bad fandom behavior all on Tumblr.
Yeah, which of those 3 were you 2 into?
Unfortunately, all 3 of them. We're not talking about that.
I plead the 5th.
Anyway,
not the 3rd?
Not the 3rd. So Super Hulock had this big issue of 3 separate media all gaining popularity at about the same time. Everything talked about, especially shipping, turned into some big moral debate. So for instance, if you didn't ship Johnlock, you were homophobic. If you didn't think that Sherlock and the Doctor should, kiss, you're anti-intellectual. All that kind of stuff. And when a lot of people, especially young people, get worked up, you just know that doxing and harassment are going to follow in its wake. And so, I guess, it just kind of got worse as the people in this community just assumed everyone else cared. So you had this big division online between Super Hulocks, who were fighting themselves, and everyone else who wanted to deck them. So essentially the fandom was a mess on its own, and so when you added 3 colliding, increasingly toxic internet cultures and progressively bad episodes, you just get fandom today, and it's not really gotten better.
I mean, it's not exactly like this behavior strange to Tumblr, though Super Hulock was the loudest about it. They still have this history of harassment, doxing, anonymous hate, all the good stuff. Cool, there's a blocking system. I wish it worked. And I think we need to remember that Tumblr was the birthplace of a lot of just absolutely controversial Tumblr moments. There was the social experiment where you could do something absolutely horrific and then say, actually, I was testing you guys.
Isn't that just all of YouTube prank culture?
Yeah, but before that.
This is the predecessor to that.
There was also the controversy about who wrote My Immortal. There was this whole thing where Tumblrites thought that it was really cool to identify themselves by shoelaces.
What?
Yeah, they had this whole thing where, if you told someone, hey, I like your shoelaces, and they said, thanks, I stole them from the president, that's how you knew they were cool.
I mean, I can think of much worse ways to, identify people with shared interests that were utilized at the time.
I mean, I guess you're right, but, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Let's take a step back, because we did promise the Onceler. The one character from the absolutely critically acclaimed The Lorax, who undergoes a dressing change, and Tumblr decided, you know what? Yeah, that's 2 very shippable dudes. Somehow it caught on and became this unfortunate LGBT self-shipping icon. It kind of just came fast and at once, and we're moving on.
Thank you.
I mean, the thing is that people on other sites are weird. We know that. But when you look at the behavior on fanfiction.net, AO3, and other social sharing sites, you can tell that people just don't have any social skills or awareness. And the problem with Tumblr is that they encouraged that. It looked at someone being really weird and said, you go baby, wave your cringe flag. And that behavior just started to grow with the rest of fandom.
I hate it. What's terrifying, though, is, of course, when Tumblr kind of broke into the real world. So we have to talk about DashCon. You all may remember DashCon from the very real history about it to whatever this guy had to say about it that wasn't accurate and is probably just really terrible. But the TLDR is it was an unofficial Tumblr convention run by people without any convention experience, and it just failed as a spectacular meme. Well, it failed to become a spectacular meme. But what is fun about it is because DashCon exists as this joke, it has caused people to, do a Sony and try to do a theatrical re-release of Morbius. But with DashCon, so we do have a DashCon 2. And the people who did DashCon 2 were competent.
Really?
Yeah, they learned the lesson that was learn how to organize a convention before you try to organize a convention, and have realistic goals about how many people will attend, and somehow get 200 volunteers for a convention with 550 standard attendees, which, how do you do that?
That's impressive.
People really liked the idea of DashCon too, and it seems like it worked, which is cool, so I would like to talk to them, because I would like to run a good convention in Sacramento, because we don't have one. Anyway, breaking news, we have a new pope. I know that this kind of happened a while ago, but I made this slide back in June, so we're going to go with it. So, Andrew, you're here.
Yes.
Yes. Would you like to play a game?
Sure.
So, we're going to guess the Pope's fandoms. And we know the Pope has fandoms because he has a Hotmail account. And there's only one thing you could ever use a Hotmail account for, and that's to sign up for Tumblr. So I'm going to show you an image, and you're going to tell me whether or not you believe they are part of the Pope's fandom. Or the Pope is in that fandom. Okay. So, Andrew.
Yes.
Is Mario in the Pope's... Is the Pope in Mario's fandom?
Well, Mario's canonically Italian, so sure.
I mean, sure he's Italian, but the thing is, the Vatican City, where, the Pope lives, is a consolidated city-state, and therefore has no loyalty. The Pope has no loyalty to Italy, New York, or the Mushroom Kingdom. 0 for 1. Is the Pope in the Sonic the Hedgehog fandom?
No.
Why not?
I just don't see it.
You're wrong. The Pope does, but only because he is from Chicago and they have big chili dog culture there. Speaking of Chicago, is the Pope a fan of the Chicago Ursa-Rings?
Yeah, he likes baseball, right?
He does, but he likes his socks much like his robes, white. What about the Onceler?
Can I plead the fifth on this one?
This is only the fourth question. You can't plead the fifth on the fourth question.
No, I don't know.
Okay, so, yes, while the Bible says a man cannot lay with another man, it says absolutely nothing about a man laying with himself. And finally, I did consult my Catholic friend for this last one. So, is the Pope part of the My Little Pony fandom?
Yes, everyone was.
I mean, I wasn't.
Bullshit.
I still don't get it. The Pope was, though. And again, according to my friend, and I quote, "Yes, ponies are simply Pegasi without horns or wings, cast to earth for their sins and demonic desires. And the Pope loves demons and is therefore a huge fan."
Is he okay?
Blake's been going through some stuff. He lost a city council race and got divorced in the same week. So, I honestly, after this, I think he just needs to touch some grass.
Yeah, the one problem with this, though, is all these issues with fandom aren't just online, as like we've been talking about so far, and touching grass won't fix everything. Because, people can be pretty cringe in person,
Why
too.
do you keep finding images of me with, like, trains?
Well, why do you keep taking images of you with trains?
Because I'm probably on Spectrum, so I like trains. This is how it works.
Yeah, but these are waifu trains.
Yeah, but they're trains. Bart was giving away, like, free keychains for all of their waifus. I had to get the Bart waifus. The first one I got was the Hawk person. So when I came back for the second one, they were like, which one do you already have? And I said, I have the Hawk girl. And they were like, well, yeah, but which girl's the hot girl? And I was like, no, Hawk girl. And they're like, no, Nimbus is a guy.
No.
Yeah, the Hawk one in the back, guy.
Guys, we cannot be transvestigating anime characters.
Okay. Well, we're going to move on to the next Nightmare conventions then, past the cringe. You love them, you cringe if you're a former cosplayer. That's right, we're talking about Homestuck. From the likes of someone deciding they could turn gray by soaking in Sharpies in the hotel bathroom, to, breaking elevators all the time, to often acrylic paint on skin rubbing off onto other cosplayers' hard work because someone just needed a hug and, can't apply sealant, which, yes, newsflash, you do need to do if you don't want to, break hotel swimming pools with all your paint when you jump into it, to, just running around and making strangers kiss for the OTP. Homestuck just might live on for years in infamy, just because of how weird they are. And that's not even mentioning the spit bucket.
I don't know what restaurant that was at, but it's definitely a Denny's now.
Oh, no, it actually was a Denny's. It was actually a Denny's. This is notorious.
I hope it was the 2 a.m. at Denny's.
I think it was. I don't know for sure. But honestly, Homestuck is never living this down.
So I unfortunately have some breaking news.
What do you mean you have breaking news?
So
wait, do we have another new pope?
No, unfortunately, I need to tell you guys that we need to remove this from our old fandom section.
Why?
It's alive.
What do you mean it's alive?
They're making a new Homestuck.
Wait. They had Vivzy Pop reanimate Homestuck.
Yeah.
How could you find the two most toxic things?
Guys, I don't think we're going to survive. I need to channel my inner old man yells at cloud, or I'm not going to make it.
Why do they keep getting away with this?
Why is Homestuck back?
Oh, God. I mean, what, next you're going to tell me Hitalia's back? I mean, it is.
No.
It's back?
Yeah. Oh. But see, here's the thing. When I told people Hitalia was airing again, everyone was like, wait, really? So I don't think this is a threat, but it was still a big thing. Hitalia, of course, exists in that period in the early 2010s when anime fans thought they were really into geography, something I have to again remind you I'm somewhat familiar with.
Uh-huh.
I do not have a picture of me with the wig, so we just have this cringe instead. Fun side note, there aren't many male Russia cosplayers.
Can't imagine why.
In fact, the only other one I know is at Real Kilometers, formerly of Crunchyroll and now of White Box Entertainment. So suddenly our friendship makes a lot more sense because we're bonded through a shared trauma of both Hitalia fandom and student government.
That tracks.
Yeah. Anyway, so when I was cosplaying Russia, I had a friend of mine cosplay America, and a lot of people advocated for us to engage in what I could only summarize as current U.S. foreign policy. I wasn't a fan. It wouldn't have been as annoying if they didn't, surround us in such a way that I was concerned that I would have to make out with my friend to get out of the space. But the Hitalia fandom has done much worse than try to get me to engage in my second non-consensual kiss with a man.
Second. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, and that is, of course, the Anime Boston incident. Apparently, some people at Anime Boston wanted to do a cosplay photo shoot.
Okay.
As the Axis powers.
Alright.
Sieg Heiling. During Passover.
What?
Across the street from the New England Holocaust Memorial Structure.
Why? Wait, tell me you're joking. Tell me this is a bad joke.
No, there's a photo of them. Some of them even blurred their faces out. They're doing awkward arm gestures. So, the story behind this, and I want to be very clear, I do not think that this makes this okay in any way. They went to a spot to do their cosplay gathering. Someone else was using the spot, and they went, well, I guess we'll go across the street and down the street, and this was the first place they could find. And then one person just got cheeky with the Sieg Heil, and then everyone else was like, well, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. And that's a salute. And,
And no one used their brain that day.
No. They're also Deadpool cosplayers. Sure, they aren't doing, inadvertent Nazi stuff, but they are cringe. And honestly, in today's political environment, I think being cringe is somehow worse than, all of this.
Yeah.
I hate it.
So, I think this is telling us one thing.
What's that?
It's time for us to take a look inside.
What do you mean?
We've criticized all this past activity, but I think we need to, ask ourselves, am I aware of myself and my behavior at cons? Because I think we need to understand that for a frighteningly large group of people, the answer is no. Let me give you an example.
Okay.
So we're going to start with a popular attraction, and that's the Artist Alley. I mean, there's a lot of very passionate creators, a lot of eager fans, bills that have to be paid. So we need to talk about the oversaturation of certain elements. You know what I'm talking about. When 80% of merch in an Artist Alley is a MiHoYo game, or Pokemon, or specifically Spirited Away, and I get it, it sells, but it's a vicious cycle. sellers need to encourage more variety, buyers need to have some variety in their taste, or soon enough, the artist alley is going to wipe itself from existence when this media isn't relevant.
That's not even talking about the tracing problem.
It's not all that the art is from the same franchise, is that the art from the same franchise is also the same. And I get it. The closest to art I do is trash posting at anime conventions and bombing open mics. So my ability to throw stones here is pretty limited. So let me again remind you that I've written an Othello fanfiction featuring Invader Zim characters.
Really?
Yeah.
I can see it.
Yeah. Anyway, so Kiki's Delivery Service, I think, is one of the biggest offenders in samey art. And which upsets me, because I love that movie. I even named my dog Kiki. But for some reason, almost every Kiki art is the same concept. Kiki's flying on her broom over the ocean towards a city or island and surrounded by birds. Obviously, there are different art styles of this interpretation and angles of the shot. And I've purchased several of them, but because they look good. But that doesn't justify the fact that no one has sat there and been like, how can I do an interesting take on Kiki's Delivery Service? Oh, I know. I'll do the same one everyone else is doing, but in watercolor. Mams K, you two do artist alleys.
Yes, we do.
Cool. Am I out of pocket in this criticism? I don't want to be like some person who doesn't understand art.
Not at all, because you see a lot of the same poses, same characters over and over again.
Okay.
The problem is now I'm going to look at Kiki's Delivery Service prints, and that's all I'm ever going to see.
Kiki's face?
There's
Kiki?
one artist that has it where she's like standing outside of the clock tower, and it's pretty cool, but otherwise they're all the same.
Yeah. I think, maybe we should actually be kind of fair to artist alley sellers too, because they're also going through it. Like, we've all been stuck waiting for a seller for like about 15 minutes because they're dealing with that fan. Now, if you are that fan, please know that it truly doesn't matter how passionate you are about any given franchise. If you're blocking the entire table so that you can tell an artist about your favorite piece of lore, you're actually actively harming their sales. Like, I can guarantee that they're most likely humoring you because, remind you, we do artist alleys. The tables aren't cheap, and you just might be buying something. But you know what's free for everybody? Lore dumping on Reddit. We're supposed to be doing it.
Just start handing out a business card with a QR code to your Reddit post history.
Honestly, for real.
Oh man, I love this character. Check my post history.
So, I think we've ragged on artist alleys long enough.
Fair.
Alright? So I think we need to talk about the vendor hall. Something that goes through about the same stuff as artist alleys, but triple the population. So, like, let's take all the issues of an artist alley and, like, have that, and then some more terrible fan behaviors. First of all, guys, there's a flow that you're supposed to have at these. If you're on the sides, you browse, buy, or take a picture. If you're in the middle, you need to move. That's where the flow goes. Do not step back into the flow because you want a lot wider look. Just use your eyeballs.
Honestly, the fact that conventions don't start enforcing just one-way routes, that would solve so many problems.
Honestly, yeah. And I mean, here's the problem, and this would mess up even a one-way route, is something else that really interrupts the flow, and that's the big mascots. I'm talking about, the giant cosplays, the big old, blow-up hamsters that are walking down the hall, and especially the ones that, expect everyone to pretend to be excited about them, skipping down, and, people will humor it, just because, they're like, okay, move, please, I need to get shopping. And it's just annoying. And it really just messes with everyone.
And, we really, speaking of all those, giant cosplays, we should actually talk about cosplayers in general, who are menaces to every artist alley, every vendor hall, everything. And you know what? I'm allowed to call you out because it's me. I'm also the problem. But we do have to recognize that oversized weapons, delicate pieces that extend out in every direction, body paint that rubs off everywhere, and all these little tiny accessories that just snag on everyone else and crowd con floors, you gotta know that you're just making it uncomfortable for yourself and for everyone else while you're at it. Consider how much space you take, and maybe consider trying for a different day if you're like, yeah, you know what? I will break out half my cosplay and poke out someone's eye here. Not good.
And I think we need to talk about something else that's actually spread on both artist alleys and con floors, and that is VTubers. Look, it's new, so it's still learning the proper fandom etiquette, and like, let's be real, longtime con goers are trying to get used to these guys too. And unfortunately, VTuber behavior is already giving a bit of a bad look. Like this. This is not cool. Like, I get it. It sounds like a good idea to have a popular VTuber attend a con from really far away, but it's uncomfortable for everyone else because they're always recording and streaming. And like, look, I get that when you buy the ticket to a con, you consent to have your image being taken, but it's always been accepted as common courtesy to ask first. And you really can't ask permission in a live recording. And again, these guys are really good at obstructing the flow.
I mean, sometimes it's just a robot driving around with a handler, and it's like, what are you doing?
Right.
They're like, hey, is anyone going to recognize me? It's like, if we recognize you, it's because you were invited to the con as a guest. It's not what you are. We're really old man yelling at cloud
really are.
here.
Yeah,
God,
we
this
really
is
are.
millennial problems. Speaking of millennial problems, I don't like TikTok. I don't know. It's because TikTok was supposed to be shut down and is only kept up because the president is just illegally maintaining the website to, I don't know, turn it into a fascist media conglomerate. But that's not the real reason I dislike TikTok at conventions. It's because people keep trying to do TikTok dances in the middle of crowded floors, and like, that is disruptive. Please do not do that. If you want to do a TikTok dance, please do it in the safety of your own home, in a secluded part of the convention, or not at all. But it could be worse than the dances, because at least like when you're doing a dance, everyone's like, oh, these people are just doing a TikTok dance, and then they just walk away. Some people are doing like full cosplay skits at conventions, and they aren't really aware of their surroundings. They don't always get the consent of other people in the skit, and even when they do, people in the area aren't aware of what's going on. So when you get a skit that's like a chase scene, people could rightly be like, hey, what's going on? This doesn't seem okay.
Yeah, that's honestly a really yikes behavior.
It's prank YouTubers. They're back.
Did they really ever leave at this point?
No.
No, see, like, the problem is like this kind of stuff, it's cringe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what else is cringe? Walking up to a cosplayer, wherever they happen to be, you know, con hall, artist alley, when they're walking to the car, and just really creepy people trying to take pictures of, you know, just normal cosplayers stepping on them, role-playing romantic scenes, are just really weird things. And, like, it's always somehow people who can't read the room. They can't tell that that smile's awkward, that the cosplayer is trying to back away slowly, and that, you know, they're suggesting literally anything else. Like, come on. A cosplayer shouldn't have to feel like a bully just because they say no.
Yeah. You know another kind of problematic behavior that actually weaponized the female gaze? That's right, we've got to talk about the yaoi paddle. An often wooden paddle, adorned with the word yaoi, intended for attendees to slap the butts of people cosplaying as characters they ship together. You can kind of imagine this got a bit intense. Sellers found out that telling people, hey, don't hit others with this, really didn't do anything. Weird, can't imagine. Now, obviously, these are banned now. Theoretically, still seeing them at cons. Don't know why. But considering there were rumored hospitalizations, can we just let this one die and stay dead?
Hey, I'm not bringing a yaoi paddle. I'm bringing a cutting board.
I mean, at this point, they're pretty much the same thing.
No, cutting boards have grooves in them.
No, fair point. You know what? Since we're on cringe fandom behavior, let's talk about guest Q&A panels. Because here's the thing. Interesting ones aren't inherently bad on the surface. Voice actors can actually give you some really good insights into the field. Creators can add some more context for what or wasn't added to the show and why. The problem is that's not what people are doing with them anymore. Now look, we know you're excited to meet the voice actor for your favorite characters, but you guys do understand that they're not the character, right? Two separate things. I guess not. So we kind of always need to agree and have better behavior with this, that all these following things I'm about to mention, it's really awkward for everybody. Well, everyone but you, I guess, if you're doing them, but things to avoid. Here we go. First thing, stop voicing the characters while asking a question. That's their job, not yours. You're bad at it. Next, stop asking them to voice lines that they probably said just once and don't remember. It's pretty common. Again, stop doing it. Don't ask them deep personal questions about their lives. That's just weird. And stop asking them if they're aware of R-rated content about their characters. Things like that. Just anything down these kind of cringe lines you wouldn't ask your friends. Please, stop doing it. Be better.
It could be worse.
Oh, yeah?
You could be doing this at a fan Q&A panel.
Oh, yeah.
Suddenly, instead of, professional voice actors, it's just you and 3 friends answering even more poorly thought out questions, like what's your character's favorite color and what's your character's favorite Chappell Roan song. Inevitably, you, the cosplayer in the Q&A, will lose any semblance of staying in character that you had, if you even had any to begin with. But I get it. You like your character. You want to make content as your character. And the only thing you could think of is a fan Q&A. Now, the problem is, if you like your character and want to do content for your character, you need to think of something better than a fan Q&A. I promise you, you can make in-character content. It does work. It just takes a lot more effort.
Oh, it does. We've actually done scripted stuff, and it turns out so well. People love it a lot more than random Q&As where half the people leave.
There's a reason most cons don't accept fan Q&A panels anymore. It's because they're bad. And if a con's accepting a lot of them, it's because the con is bad.
Yeah. But, so we've been picking on general cons a little bit. I wouldn't say too much, because it's deserved. But we should go out to the real world a little bit, just so we're not being too,
Wait, we're going to attack normies?
Yes, we are.
Yeah!
Let's move on to the most normie of normie fandoms that people don't even consider a fandom. Sports ball. Yes, it's a fandom, because let me promise you, not everyone likes it or wants to hear about your favorite characters doing the thing. Now, while I want to say they're pretty normal compared to some of that cringe stuff we've seen both online and, at cons, and, anime fandom fans do some crazy stuff, you know what? Actually, now that I think about it, I'm kind of not going to delve any further into this because I don't really want to mess with these people. Like, I've seen what they do when they win and are celebrating. What are they going to do to us when they roast us? I'm not exactly fireproof. I don't really want to test my luck, so I think I'm just going to let them be. I'm just going to call them cringe from way over here.
You know who I'm not going to let be, though?
From the safety of Andrew's house.
Exactly.
Guys.
What?
We need to pick on the Disney adults.
Yes, we do.
Just as widespread and scary. For a definition, it's that person who completely ignores all the ills and questionable morality of Disney. They're willing to just throw their money at it no matter what. And I think they're the only reason Disney Plus actually exists. And why ticket prices just keep going up and up and up. And, don't get me started on the Disney fans who love Star Wars so much that they'll just, burn it all down. Brilliant move. Let's see how it plays out for them.
I like all the right-wing YouTubers who love Star Wars so much they will destroy it.
Yeah.
It's great. But, why let your fans destroy your own work? Sometimes you can do it yourself.
Here
at 5th Gen Isn't Pokemon, we are not believers in death of the author, especially when the author keeps tweeting stuff like this. So, J.K. Rowling, why? But we should have seen this coming. Slavery in Harry Potter, better make a whole arc about it, mocking leftist activism, ending with the moral being that elves actually liked being slaves. Harry Potter's life dream, he just wants to be a cop.
Huh.
Yeah, he just wants to uphold the racist magical hierarchy system. Hierarchy. It's crazy. But don't worry, everybody. Dumbledore's gay. Too bad his main defining characteristic is that he's way too into hanging out with young boys. It doesn't really matter, though. People are still listing their Hogwarts houses in their dating profiles. But if I leave a long-winded rant about how much I don't like 5th Gen Pokemon, I'm the weirdo.
I mean, you're both weird, to be fair, but...
I'm at least weird in a fun and interesting way. They're weird in an incredibly boring way. Yeah. And also they're into cringe stuff. But I think that just picking on mainstream fandoms is a little too much. It's not enough. We should also be picking on overcooked fandoms. Not the fandom for Overcooked, which is presumably one person and a cemetery of all of the co-op players they had that were not good enough. No, we're talking about overcooked fandoms, ones that go way too hard for how niche their subject is.
Okay.
And the first one we are going to do is Sonic the Hedgehog. Well, not Sonic. I've already said a lot about Sonic. Right, Andrew?
Yes.
We said a lot about Sonic. Sonic's not niche. But you know what is niche? Sonichu. Okay, maybe not that. I think there's only one person who likes Sonichu, and that is the author of Sonichu. Instead, we have to go into like the... I don't even know if it's an ironic fandom at this point, but the fandom that is Christian. First of all, nice touch with the costume. You've got the man in the pickle suit, very 2010. Coincidentally, 2010 is probably the last time that it would have been socially acceptable to cosplay a lolcow to a convention. It's 2025. Why are you cosplaying Oedipus Rex? And, like, what's going on here? 5.5-hour iceberg video? That's not what iceberg videos are about. 10-hour psychoanalysis? A 45-part video series?
No, Max, that's 85.
85. And this screen grab's a year old. There are probably more now. That's an hour 10. What's going on? Stop giving this person oxygen. They need to be behind bars, not allowing you to farm a content mill. Speaking of desecrated corpses, next is Doge. I don't like that we're attacking a meme revolving around a dead dog, but I feel like it's gotten specifically awful.
Yeah.
It started fine. We had some really fun flash games, good memes. It was a fun time for everybody. And then it got co-opted by Crypto Bros. And then Crypto Bros with a platform. And then Crypto Bros with a platform who liked awkward arm gestures. And now Doge just stands for taking away the lunches of poor children because they aren't working in the mines. And why can't we just have the Shiba?
I miss the
I miss the Sheeb. We have one more.
Okay.
Jet lag answers the eternal question, what if the Amazing Race were a well-designed game? For those of you who don't know, it's a travel competition show by Wendover Productions. Features Sam, Adam, Ben, and sometimes a fourth person. And a lot of the fandom spends their time overanalyzing the trailers, discussing episodes, and deliberating on which type of Cotopaxi travel bag to get. I went with the Alpa Del Dia 35L because the coloration is fun. I like the fabric it's made out of because it's scrap fabric, so it's pretty sustainable and not good for cosplay stuff, but otherwise a good travel bag. Would you two agree? Having purchased one after
we did. You sold us on it.
They watched this slide and went, "That's a cool bag. I should get one."
I mean, 100% what happened.
Yeah.
But carry on.
The problem is that's not all the fandom does. They have started writing erotic fan fiction about the cast. And the only thing weirder to me than writing erotic fan fiction about real people is the fact that Ben has claimed to have his cousins read it for him. And can we stop doing that and go back to discussing Cotopaxi bags? Because I'm still trying to figure out if I should get a 42 liter because it's on sale right now, and I feel like the 35 is not doing enough for me.
So we have some rough news for you here, Max.
Okay.
RPF's actually pretty common. Like, don't get me wrong. It's weird. It's weird. It's unusual. It's still, generally speaking, frowned upon in the fandoms. But you know what? Fanfics of your favorite actors of a franchise going on dates or, other stuff. Like, at least Jetlag has some baby numbers. It could be a lot worse.
I don't care if that's a baby number. The number should be 0.
Yeah, it's not going to.
I'm not okay with this. Can we move on to something
less
problematic? I said less problematic.
Well, you know what? We've seen some bad behaviors, the absolute messes. I think we can use these as an example. So, the newer popular fandoms don't fall into the same pit. Husband Hotel is only about a year old, so it's a relatively baby fandom. Maybe we can still save it? What?
That baby was dropped a long time ago.
I think this is even before the show came out, so fair point. Husband Hotel, how to speedrun toxicity. Like I said, Hazbin Hotel was released in 2024, and we've already kind of hit all the fun controversies you can imagine. Fooling people until they get offline, insufferable cosplayers, people taking everything way too seriously, like all that social lack of awareness and everything that we've talked about this entire presentation just got added to a huge fandom. But, how did it become toxic so fast? And, to be honest, I think it's the issue that the Venn diagram of normies in fandom and those who like to dig really deep in the trenches, it's two circles that in most fandoms and most contents never meet. And, that normally would go nuclear if they met. Hazbin Hotel did this fun thing where it smashed them together at 100 miles per hour. So, that's great. So, can we help it? No, not really. Probably not. But, if even the new ones are bad this fast, do we ever have a good fandom?
Of course
do we have one you can use as an example?
Yeah, we've had one good fandom.
Really?
What one?
Yeah. It should be obvious. It's the Jackie Chan Adventures fandom. Point 1, it had me in it. I'm certified not cringe. Point 2, due to our well-known support of Death of the Author, we know that the subject of the show being a problematic monster doesn't matter. And I don't actually have a third point because, let's be honest, if I have anything else to say, it's this whole argument's going to fall apart.
Do you want to tell him?
No, let him live in his fantasy.
Okay. Well, then I guess we have one good one, but I still can't figure out what went wrong with all these other fandoms and why they're so toxic. We've covered, Hetalia, Has-Been, Hotel, Harry Potter, Homestuck. What connects all of these ones?
I mean, they all have these insular communities that have to feed off of each other, which causes this escalation of cringe. So basically anything that's, cornered off from the real world is just going to do this.
I guess, but there has to be something else to this.
Oh my god, guys, I've got it.
What?
It's the letter H.
What do you mean it's the letter H?
No, hear me out. It's been the letter H.
Homestuck, Hetalia, Harry Potter.
Has-Been Hotel being twice as toxic with twice the H's. she actually might be onto something here.
Yeah, we've got our own host club.
Yeah, that's true. That was pretty bad. House of the Dragon.
Right. What about Howl's Moving Castle?
No. And the Protected by Ghibli. Ghibli automatically gives it a pass.
Heliolisk is pretty sus.
Yeah, that's true. Dr. Horrible.
No, he has a medical degree. He's Dr. Horrible.
Oh, fair point.
H.P. Lovecraft.
Oh, that's a pretty good one.
He is pretty racist.
Yeah.
Hentai? Speaking of tentacles.
Yeah. You know what? I have a really good one. Harley Davidson fans who wish they had the medical degree to cover all those unreasonably expensive bikes. Actually, you know what? Now that we mention it, I think I found the potential cause to all of this. I honestly think it's heteronormativity. Just the definition alone is super toxic.
Speaking as a resident hetero, I'm not going to say we're a perfect group of people. We're pretty terrible. But I think that you are not inclusive enough in what is causing this.
Oh, no?
But it still starts with an H, and that H is, of course, humanity.
Oh, yeah.
Without humans, there can be no toxic fandoms. There can be no cringe. A world free of fan fiction and explicit fan art and adults rioting in the streets because their team won the game. That's why I think I'm proud to announce we are actually going to make a political endorsement going forward.
Are we? What?
Yeah, we're going to endorse the Republican Party because they hate humanity the most.
Oh, yeah.
They're the only party to sit there, look humanity in the eye and go, no, we don't want you here.
Huh.
Anyway, that's the panel. So, we would like to thank Al Gore for inventing... No, we would not like to thank Al Gore for inventing the internet. That was a mistake.
No.
We'd like to thank the first toxic fan to mail pipe bomb Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, a true visionary. The Pope for showing us his My Little Pony collection. And, of course, fanfiction.net for having the foresight to get us to all think it's shut down. Because apparently it's still operating.
It is still operating, and I don't know how.
I hate it. Anyway, thank you all for watching this. Again, that QR code will take you to all of our social media, and have a good virtual KinYoobiCon and hopefully a good in-person KinYoobiCon. We will be presenting Pokemon Film Review Hour at con at 11:45 a.m. So you should be there or not. Please be there. Please go to KinYoobiCon. It's great. Right, everybody? Yeah.